Hey, how you doing? My name is Ryan, and today I'm counting down the top 10 dumbest LEGO sets of 2024. For the purposes of this list, I'm not looking at failed experiments or promotional Happy Meal toys. These are retail sets from established themes that I believe have high levels of nonsense in either their concept, execution, build experience, price, or in the worst cases, all four. With that, let's dim the bulbs, smooth the brains, dull the tacks, and look at number 10, modern art. This concept is dumb. Now, I'm not saying that all of modern art is dumb, though the movement does have its critics, nor am I saying that LEGO is a bad medium for artwork. In fact, I just recently visited an entire museum exhibit dedicated to LEGO art. But the idea of designing an unconventional work, pre-packaging the right pieces, predetermining the instructions to replicate that work, and asking people to pay for the experience to recreate the work, doesn't that go against the very ideas behind modern art? Yes, the instructions give you multiple iterations to create and explore, but even the notion of instructions when talking about modern art is so strange. LEGO would have been more true to the core ideas of the modern art movement, that being the rejection of history and realistic depiction of subjects, innovation and experimentation with form, and an emphasis on processes, if they just gave you a pile of bricks and said, "Here, go ahead, make some art." It seems like you'd have to already like the artwork shown on the box in order to buy the set, because that's indicative of your color palette and forms that are available. The modern art set therefore feels more akin to an art assignment with mandated restrictions than an experimentation in free expression. And if you don't want to think about the various theories of free expression and artistic boundaries while building a LEGO set, then you probably wouldn't want the modern art set to begin with. Execution-wise, the piece that LEGO designers came up with is quite aesthetically pleasing in an abstract way. To be fair, if anyone knew how to combine the shapes of LEGO into new, unconventional, yet structurally sound methods, it'd be the professional designers. The build experience, once you come to terms with the counterintuitive nature of the set, is breezy and does encourage free expression of placements of the various forms you build. The price? Fair. In fact, $50 is on the cheaper side for the LEGO art line. But the entire notion of a modern art set in LEGO recreating what's shown on the box with instructions is just frankly a strange and dumb idea. But how about number 9, the LEGO Avengers Helicarrier? A miniature helicarrier is a solid idea for a Marvel set, and it's the first miniature ship build of the brand, taking inspiration from the midi-scale LEGO Star Wars sets. The execution of this idea is delightful, as the model expertly handles the unique shapes of the helicarrier with ease, even with so few pieces. The build experience is close to dumb. The amount of stickers in this set could deter some, especially since the final look of the piece is almost entirely determined on how well you place those stickers. But the price is dumb. $80 for 509 pieces. 15 cents per piece is pretty high, but add to that the Marvel tax and what I'm calling the adult fan of LEGO tax, and you get a severely overpriced set. LEGO has a nasty habit of elevating the prices of their adult-oriented models regardless of their size. If it's not a playset, always expect to pay more. For $80, I'd expect far fewer stickers and maybe even an exclusive minifigure. A few more bucks gets you the Avengers Quinjet from 2023, a large display and play vehicle with 5 minifigures. I've always thought the bus series to be overpriced, but this one just seems more egregious than the rest, landing it at my number 9 spot for the dumbest LEGO set of 2024. But we can get worse with number 8, Ahsoka Tano's duel on Peridia. The concept is fair, a slightly larger scale lightsaber duel with multiple characters and a place to fight. Fine enough and in line with other LEGO Star Wars sets. Now, I can't speak to the accuracy of the set because I didn't watch the Ahsoka show on Disney+, and judging by the comments of my previous videos, I can barely pronounce the word Ahsoka correctly. Execution is questionable. Not dumb yet, but just incredibly bland. Peridia itself is rather bland, so not much to work with. The LEGO designers did include some nice features to the build, like the turnstile play mechanic for some actual fighting, and the snot technique for the front of the platform. The environment almost looks like some of the LEGO Star Wars mocks I see on YouTube, and that's a fascinating direction for the Star Wars display sets to take. But like some mocks, the build experience is monotonous, repetitive, and dumb. Building 4 near identical towers and mostly gray, mostly symmetrical floor leads to a boring, stale build process, and the stickers are plenty, painstaking, and also critical for the final look of the set, as they are some of the only visible details. There are 20 stickers in this set, and many of them are patterns with straight lines, so if you don't line them up perfectly, the entire set might look off. And for the price of $55, that's almost dumb. At 14 cents per part, you're mostly paying for the Star Wars tax and the minifigures, so they better be worth it. Except in this case, they kind of are. It's crazy to see LEGO put 5 new and exclusive figures in one set, and while not all of them have intensive prints, each one is well crafted. So yes, the price is high for a typical lightsaber duel set, but this set is pretty atypical in terms of figures. You really get what you pay for. Unfortunately, the whole thing is weighed down by a dumb building experience. How about number 7, the Flying Forward Anglia? The concept is dumb. The Flying Forward has become the X-Wing and Millennium Falcons of the Harry Potter line, as LEGO is insistent that there always be one of these blue cars in rotation at all times. The 2018 Whopping Willow set had one, then the Ford Privet Drive set had one, and now fans of this fantastical Ford have a whole set dedicated to it. If LEGO wanted to try something new and scale this car up, kind of like the Back to the Future DeLorean or the Aston Martin from James Bond, that'd be forgivable, but just to have another minifigure scale small blue car and have that be your entire set, that's just dumb in my opinion. And on top of that, the execution is also dumb. It feels so creatively bankrupt because there are so few cosmetic changes to the overall look of the set. I could line up the 3 most recent models from the past 6 years, and I don't think you'd be able to tell me which is which. And look, I get it, it's the same car these sets are trying to recreate, so of course they're gonna look somewhat identical, but why put out the same set over and over again if you have nothing new to say creatively? The build experience is quick and painless, so nothing bad here. Same goes for price, 15 bucks puts it in the same camp as the Marvel and Star Wars mech suits. But unlike the mech suits that at least experiment and try something new, the Flying Forward Anglia is the same thing over and over again, and that's pretty dumb if you ask me. But of course, we can get stupider with my number 6 pick, the Batman 8-in-1 figure. The idea of honoring the multiple incarnations of Batman in one set is fantastic. Is it a bummer you can only build one Batman per set? Yeah, but that's kinda par for the course with these 3-in-1, 4-in-1 creator builds, but more on that in a little bit. The execution of this theoretical multi-pack is fine. You can either pick the Bronze Age Batman, Adam West Batman, Burton Batman, the Animated Series Batman, Dark Knight Trilogy Batman, BVS Batman, the Lego Batman, or the Matt Reeves Batman. All solid choices, and each one does look rather nice. But the build experience is dumb. Not just for the fact you can really only build one per set, but because the set only includes the instructions for one Dark Knight, the Bronze Age Batman. Now, you might be thinking, well, maybe LEGO is trying to save paper, and all the instructions are digital online on their website. But even the PDF online is only for one Batman. So that raises the question, what if you wanted to build any of the other 7 Batman included in this set? Where are the instructions? Well, they're in the LEGO Builders app. Now, I often use my phone for music or podcasts while I'm building, so to have to use a mobile device to download an app and set up an account just to build the one brickhead that I bought the set for feels absurd. In fact, this entire set feels like it was designed with the sole purpose of increasing the download numbers on the Builders app. And the price is also dumb. Brickheads individually go for about $10, even Marvel and Star Wars ones. Sometimes you see a 3-pack for $20, and that's a pretty solid deal. But to pay $24 for one complete brickhead and a slew of useless pieces is pretty stupid. Yes, you do get multiple printed pieces for each Bat logo, and you could argue that would raise the price of the set, but those are double-sided with a different logo on each side. So if you wanted to build the 2 brickhead Batmans that exist on alternate sides of the same piece, you would have to get 2 complete copies of this set just to make those brickheads. That's dumb and also downright greedy. You're legitimately paying more than the cost of an entire brickhead just on extra pieces. It's straight up dumb. But of course, it can always get worse, as we're now entering the top 5 dumbest sets of 2024. Coming in at number 5 is the Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit. The concept is questionable, as this is now the 5th Desert Skiff set, and only one, all the way back in 2006, was bundled with the full Jabba sail barge. Now, as was the case with Harry Potter's Flying Forward, I do understand LEGO's desire to always have memorable ships and moments in their set rotation, but that's kind of more of a blight on Star Wars itself than LEGO, because Star Wars needs more memorable moments from modern films instead of relying on a trilogy of movies from almost half a century ago. So the idea of a new Sarlacc Pit makes sense. I just wish LEGO tried something new with it. Maybe a more scale model without minifigures or a diorama like the Endor bike chase or trench run sets. The execution here is dumb. The skiff build looks so simple and minimal, while the Sarlacc is massive for no reason. There's also no real level of detail on the surrounding mound of sand, and the overall mouth shape and size hasn't really changed outside of color palette. So it looks like LEGO dedicated more than half of its 558 piece count towards a giant mound of sand. And a boring mound if that. There's not even some snot techniques like the Peridia duel. As much as Anakin Skywalker hates sand, someone at LEGO must really like sand. The build experience then becomes a casualty of the dumb execution, becoming incredibly suspect. You'll probably spend more than half of your build time laying down tan pieces to make a giant pile of sand. But the skiff build itself spares the experience from becoming dumb, as it looks like the process to obtain the interesting shapes is quite rewarding. Too bad you're paying $80 for that questionable experience. That's dumb. 14 cents per part, pretty high, but 4 exclusive figures, but only one of them is really all that unique. Now, you might say figures have subjective value. Some people might pay $80 for 4 figures, but what makes this pricing really dumb for me is how it compares to previous Skiff sets. 2017 Skiff retailed for only $30, less than half of the new one. 2012 retailed for $25, and back in 2006, $75 would have gotten you a Skiff and the full sail barge. So to get the smaller vehicle for a higher price with only a few new figures and a giant pile of sand, that's dumb. Star Wars inflation is real, and the more LEGO caters towards older fans of the original trilogy, the higher they feel the prices can be. But how about number 4 on my list, Shadow the Hedgehog? The concept is dumb. Yes, this set is part of the helmet bust line, but I think it's the first time we're getting a disembodied head as the model. I guess Venom and Carnage were technically disembodied heads, but Shadow feels different because it's not really an alien, it's a full character. It really reads like a trophy head mounted over a fireplace. Why not make a larger buildable Shadow or Sonic? Why just the head? Why does it feel like I just killed a video game character and plopped his head on a pole? Execution-wise, this set is also dumb. Some characters just look weird from unconventional angles, and from head-on, Shadow looks strange. There's a reason when the public pressured Paramount to redesign the film version of Sonic, the artist increased the size of his eyes in proportion to his forehead, because otherwise, the amount of blank black head visible from the front is off-putting. But even from the side, the rigidity and mechanical look of his quills don't align with the organic and smooth design of the character. It's one of the reasons why LEGO is great at depicting helmets and ships, but not so much fur. See Chewbacca. The visible underside of the ears makes sense from a build perspective, but nevertheless, exposed underside of brick will almost always make a set look unfinished. Same goes for the bar clip just behind the nose. The set looks good from only one angle. As for the build experience, it's questionable, as I'm sure creating some of these unique shapes could be fun, but the quills would certainly become repetitive. The price, $70, is questionable as well, but not really dumb. It's right in line with the other bust sets, but more so I'm curious who would pay $70 for a video game character's head on a stick. Moving up to the number 3 dumbest set, the Hogwarts Castle Boathouse. Now on the surface, the concept for this set might look fine. It depicts a classic moment from Harry Potter, has a couple of figures, nice little castle build, but make no mistake, the intention behind this set is dumb. The Hogwarts Castle Boathouse marks the third restart of the Connected Castle series since 2018. So if you dedicated any time or money to the 2018 castle line or the 2021 castle line, tough luck, time to start over again. And it's even stupider when you consider the fact that some of the castle sets from the previous rotation are still available in retail. There are now 2 Great Hall sets available on LEGO.com, and that's absurd. The execution of this set is also dumb, because the building style is near identical to the previous line, just smaller. The boats are tiny, the build is tiny, making the details tiny too. I highly doubt you could even recreate the scene this set's trying to depict because Hagrid could not fit in the boat, and if he could, he'd probably tip it over. I think the castle build is faithful to the film. Why there's a drawer with a frog, I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be Neville's frog Trevor, but why is he in a drawer? Who knows? And the gray roof and clips on the back of the set confirm this is a brand new style of castle, not immediately compatible with the previous incarnations in both style and scale. If LEGO wants to make more castle sets, and their first instinct was to shrink down each individual set so they can make more of them, that's really greedy and also dumb. As for the build experience, I'm sure it's relatively straightforward and quick, but perhaps your thumbs might get sore from all the tiny 1x1 pieces. But a price of $38 is pretty dumb. The 10-cent per part metric is quite nice, but that's never the whole story. The figures are near indistinguishable from their previous incarnations, so the new figures don't really justify the higher price. I guess the Harry Potter tax could be a bit higher than we expected, but I think this price is dumb for a much more sinister reason. If this is one of the smaller castle pieces in this latest and greatest wave, that would mean the entry point for starting your new Hogwarts castle is $40, and that's the floor. It can only go up from there. If you wanted to start collecting these castle sets, get your wallet ready because it's going to be an expensive ride, especially if LEGO makes the many castle sets required to build the most detailed Hogwarts they've ever made. And that is just dumb. But now we've reached the top 2, and honestly, either of these could be interchangeable as 1 or 2. But for my number 2 pick, I'm going with the message board. The concept here is dumb, and that's coming from someone who loves LEGO decor. The medium has so much potential for incredible centerpieces, but a message board is just kind of tacky. It's honestly a worse version of the Dots message board because at least you can do more than just letters with that set. But to be restricted to 1 font, 1 letter per block, and 1 color scheme, that's such a downgrade and downright dumb. The execution is also dumb, as not only is it difficult to rearrange the blocks, but the entire thing is held together by a Technic frame that is top-heavy and requires rebuilding each time you want a longer word. The beige color scheme gives the set no life, no creativity, no fun really. This flimsy, monochromatic sign is laughable, especially as LEGO intends this set to be an announcement of one's love of the brand. But it gets worse because the build experience is also dumb. LEGO showcases multiple people building the set, but the instructions make that task incredibly difficult. There are multiple books to divide the alphabet amongst the group, but if your phrase has multiple E's or S's, the division of labor would be increasingly unbalanced. Building this set as a family would feel like a multi-tier factory, with the boss building just 1 letter, feeling proud of himself, while everyone else is scrambling to finish the rest of the set before Mr. I Built a Y gets bored and walks away. And the price for a family game night worse than Monopoly? $100. Dumb. I don't see where that price comes from. Yes, you get over 2,000 pieces, but the majority of them are generic. Heck, look at the image LEGO uses to advertise this set, and it's a pile of white, gray, tan, and black. If you have 1 or 2 spare base plates lying around and a bunch of tiles, then congratulations, you have a much more creative, colorful, and possibly collaborative version of the message board than the one LEGO's selling right now for $100. But now we've reached the dullest of the dull, the dimmest of the dim, the smoothest of the smooth brain sets of 2024. My number one dumbest set? Travel moments. Now the concept of this set is dumb, but bear in mind, there's two different versions of travel moments. There's the original, featured on LEGO Masters, which is a massive plane with exploration vignettes inside, and then there's the we have the Wonderliner at home version sold on LEGO's website. A flat model of the Earth, a few bendy picture holders, and a tiny model of the once impressive plane. Talk about dumb. I can't even see the flow, the connection that would cause LEGO to turn this really impressive Masters model into another piece of tacky college dorm room decor. My only guess is that LEGO already had a travel set in mind, and they retrofitted the model to include the plane for cross-branding purposes. But what we ended up with was an incredibly watered down and confusing version of a really creative build. The execution is also dumb for one very key reason. None of the several configurations of this set utilize all the pieces well. If you want to use the photos, you have to lay the Earth flat on a table, like a sad little centerpiece. And the photo stands themselves, the way they're built in these kind of curved black model, look so tacky and juvenile. But if you want to hang the Earth up like art, then you can't use the photo stands, and there's already a far more detailed and artistic world map set. Even though it's retired, you could just buy the pieces. The build experience is dumb as well. You're going to build so many facets of the set that might never be used. If you're hanging the Earth on the wall, why bother build the planar vehicles? Why did the designers go through all the effort to make a rainbow pattern on the back of the world map if you're never going to see it regardless of which display method you use? The micro builds here really feel like disjointed poly bags that have no relation to the main set, making the entire build experience rather disjointed as well. And the price? Of course, it's dumb. $150 for this Five Below style world map. Even LEGO Star Wars has a pretty incredible display of C-3PO with only 100 pieces less and a C-3PO minifigure, and even with the brand tax, it's still $140. That's $10 less for so much more value. Is the LEGO Masters brand tax really that much? $150 gets you the new Jaws set with an incredible ship, the shark, and 3 exclusive figures. I just don't see $150 of value in this set. The LEGO Masters Travel Moments is not a playset with unique features. It has no figures, it has no display value due to the disconnect between each element, and in my opinion, it's the dumbest LEGO set of 2024. But I would love to know your thoughts on my list. Is there a dumb set that I missed? Is there a set on my list that you like? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.